Welcome to the next chapter with me, Denise Young, and this is my special guest, Sherree Anderson, who's also with Real Broker, works in Winnipeg real estate. Today, we're going to talk about the current market and what we are seeing live happening. Hi, Sherree. How are you?
Hi, Denise. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for coming on. I appreciate it. It's so wild what's happening in the market right now. Earlier this year, we were talking about pretty much half the houses were going bonkers crazy, and now we're seeing a whole bunch sitting on the market. So what's your take on it?
So I noticed that in the first part of the year, there was very little inventory. And that's why we had so many multiple offers over the last little while. And now I see there's more houses coming to the market. And then sometimes, because of all the competition that's in the neighborhood, they're sitting a little. Sometimes they're not selling on offer date. Also, the prices have been adjusted to the higher level that we came to since January. So I think ultimately, maybe some buyers will be a little bit happier with this market a little bit as we
Yes.
go into the rest of the year. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it's interesting because I'm also seeing some buyers go, oh, nobody else wants it. I really wanted it until I found out no one else wanted it. Now I don't want to write an offer.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And we should be doing the opposite. We should be like, oh, this is our opportunity. We have a little bit of buyer. I think that there's a bit of buyer fatigue. I've had several buyers taking a break. So that between that and more inventory actually being on the market, I feel like it's interesting. And we are seeing some realtors price properly instead of underpricing. And those ones are just like, it's like crickets.
Yeah, that's for sure. Because then I find that buyers get scared, right? If their budget is a certain level and then they're so used to doing multiple offers, now the house is priced where it should be, and they're afraid to go even higher, so they just sit and wait. Or the other thing I'm seeing is if the house goes past offer date, they want to offer $30,000 under asking.
Right. Yes, I totally agree. Yeah.
So
Yeah, I
that's
know.
difficult to
It
work.
is such an interesting market. You definitely need to have a realtor who's like on top of things right now, and not just like a blanket. I find like some of us use systems, right? And I think systems are great for some things, but I don't think systems are great for this. And like I'll often also tell my clients, oh, let's only look 30 to 100 under your asking price or your approval. But like that has to shift when the market shifts, right? Like our systems aren't always what's working. So now we have to be a little bit more in front of our computers and looking to see, okay, what does this house is this house actually listed under, or is it listed at, or is there enough stuff in the market where my client is looking? If you're looking, say, I know like there's some pockets around where you are, where if a house came up, it's still a one-off, hurry up and get it type stuff. And there's still lots of little pockets like that around. But so we're still seeing lots of action in those areas. But like in a common area, like I'll say like Transcona, for instance, like if you're looking in West Transcona, all of a sudden there's so many listings to pick from, you probably don't need to be bidding on something. You can get a good house for actual list price and maybe even have an inspection on it. Right? Like a lot of my clients who want those inspections got houses in the last 2 weeks. I'm literally sitting on only a handful of buyers now, right? Like, yeah.
Yeah, it's really nice when the market like settles a little. And I had a few buyers who stepped aside and said, okay, I think I'm going to rent.
Oh, no.
There's a lot of, I think I'm going to rent. I think I'm going to live with my mom.
Yeah.
But then I tend to say to them, look, let's just get out of the spring market, and then you'll be able to breathe a little. Because we always have to remember that people come from all over Canada to buy, right? So an average price across Canada, 1,500 square foot bungalow is like $720,000 in the
Yeah.
other provinces, and we're still selling it like 425, 450.
Right.
So when they come in and they are used to those prices, well, they just want the house. So then they say, here's an additional $50,000,
Right.
and then they can move into it,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
we're at the end of May now, so most of the military and RCMP transfers are done, like
Yeah.
most of them,
Yeah.
and so you don't have that competition either. But
Right.
this is why it's important to work with a realtor, because realtors know these things, right? Like
Yeah.
if you're an average person searching for a house on MLS or realtor.ca, you don't know why this house for sold for $80,000 over asking, right? And you don't know why this house is sitting, but we probably know. Like there's a
Yeah.
good chance we've been
There's a
in,
good chance
like,
we do. Although
yeah,
I have seen a couple lately where even I am flummoxed on why this house isn't sold, other than I
yeah,
know about buyer fatigue and the
yeah,
fact that all of a sudden there's more inventory, right?
yeah. And
So
this is when we start talking to each other as realtors, right?
yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
I've got this listing
Yeah,
and it didn't sell an offer date. And then like realtors come out of the woodwork. They're like, oh, I've got a buyer for that. Let me come see it. And within a couple days, that's sold.
exactly.
So yeah, we like
Yeah,
that.
you have to. It is nice to have a good network of people to be able to talk to and say, hey, this didn't sell on offer date. This is a good opportunity to get in here and pay asking.
Yeah.
Have an inspection.
You know,
Yeah.
the other thing that's important is that even when your client says to you, I think I'm going to take a break, your realtor, like us, we don't take a break. We just
No,
keep
we
going.
don't take a break. We
Yeah.
still look, and
We,
we'll still shoot you some stuff when we
yeah,
think it's important for you to look at it or see
yeah,
it, right? Like even though you're taking a break, and that's okay because
yeah,
like sometimes you need to take a break from being obsessed with looking at online constantly, right? Like
for
um,
sure.
because you're probably spending more time than you need to looking online when that's my job to
Right.
find the opportunities, right?
Yeah. That's what
And
we do.
right. Um, and yeah, so go back to work and we'll find the right one when it comes up.
Yeah.
And we're sometimes like looking behind the scenes, not just on MLS, right? Like,
Right. Yeah.
we're always talking about, like maybe I have some stuff that isn't ready to go on MLS yet, but like you would tell me, hey, I have this client, we're having a tough time finding something. And I'd be like, oh, I actually have something like that coming.
Yeah.
But let's see if they're willing to let you come and look at it right now. And maybe we could do something off market, at the, I usually give my clients a range. So then we would do an off market deal at the higher range so that they're not going to miss out on what they could get
Right.
on MLS, right? So
That's right.
and then that gives the buyer the opportunity to have conditions and not compete, but still get something great. And
Right.
mhm.
Yeah. It always surprises me, the spring market. It always surprises me. Everybody, they're sleeping for winter and the sun comes out and everybody comes out and they're like, we need to buy a house. That's it. Let's go look at every single house that's on the market right now.
Oh yes, and
Yeah.
spring market for realtors happens when there's still snow on the ground.
Yeah. 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 Right. With me and my hip replacement, I got crutches and
Yeah.
slippery and,
Oh my gosh. Yes.
it was a treacherous winter, and start of the spring season was
Yes.
real
And this was
fun.
a really slippery year for
Yeah,
having to deal with crutches for sure.
it certainly was. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
there was so much
yeah.
ice this year. But yeah, I feel like a lot of my buyers have bought. I do have a couple buyers still on a break that I've sent some stuff to, and I think it'll bring them back to hopefully be we'll get them something in the next. I always feel like when this slowdown happens, it happens until like I don't know mid-August, and then things
For sure.
pick back up in September and
Yeah. Winnipeg's definitely a lake cottage, like we're a cottage town for sure. So like May long weekend, everybody goes to the cottage. You've got kind of less competition. People are enjoying summer. They say, "Oh yeah, we'll pick up in the fall."
yeah,
And but then those serious people are still here, and
the
they're still,
serious buyers will
yeah,
still be around.
That's
But
right.
yeah, a bunch of buyers will go to the lake for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do feel like summer's short here, so like lots of people want to enjoy it. And the funny thing is I have some cabin listings, and like between me and Stacy, and you'd think that that market would have heated up already, but because we had such a cold spring, that market hasn't, right? It
Right.
hasn't. Like we're seeing inventory starting to really pile up, right?
Yeah. Now,
And
now we have July weather in
yeah, and
May.
now we have July weather in May, so hopefully that's gets things going there. But
Yeah.
it's only been a few days of it so far, so
Your listing there in the White Shell is absolutely beautiful. So I'm
yes,
sure
very limited
that'll
market
sell.
though.
Yeah, for sure. But some beautiful things to look at. I know I had a few of my cottage clients come out and say they wanted to start looking around too.
Yeah,
So yeah,
there's definitely more inventory now.
yeah.
Stacy also has a really beautiful lakefront one in Bassett, but again, limited market, and but if you're, yeah,
Well, if
beautiful,
you're looking for the
gorgeous
right
stuff.
one, that house is going to be the right one for somebody, right? So I
Absolutely,
just want to say one more thing that like what feels really expensive today for a house. So like say a buyer is looking at a house and now they're priced at 425, right? Or
hmm
or 450. So that seems really expensive. But that same house was, 350 a couple years ago. So
right,
so you'll look back and you'll say, "Oh, I paid so much more." But that's today's market, right?
yeah,
But next year's market, that 450 house might be 525.
right,
So
exactly.
waiting is not in real estate. Waiting, that's not the right
No,
game.
it sometimes costs you money.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely
Yeah,
often costs you money. Yeah, you want to, your goal should just be to get into the market really.
yeah. Just get into the
And then
market.
once you're in the market, you want to like, you're going to buy and sell at the same time basically. So then it's going to be a wash. If you're buying when things are high, you're also selling when things are high. If you're buying when
That's
things are
right.
low, you're also selling when things are low. So then it's a wash. So just get in
Yeah,
and then keep
get
going.
in, buy your house.
Yeah,
That's right. Then you
yeah.
have somewhere to live too, which is really
Right?
good. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then then the yard work starts. But
right. And I mean, we still have houses in every price range, right? And
yeah,
there's established neighborhoods that have smaller houses. We've had neighborhoods that have previously not been fantastic neighborhoods that have come up in value so much. They're now is a whole different, it's a really nice neighborhood now, right?
yeah,
So
it's improved. There's like
yeah,
gentrification happening all over, right?
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, and then we've got new developments happening around the city, like new houses going up everywhere all the time.
yeah. And
So
yet you can still pick up like a condo in that like 100 and
yeah,
40 range even,
yeah,
right? Like
that's right.
you can get into the market no matter what you can afford.
You could still get a townhouse condo in like, under 300,000 that has
Yeah,
a garage even.
right.
If we go out of the city, then we're like still 250 and
Yeah.
we're getting something, quite nice. So yeah,
Yeah.
we know our stuff, right, Denise?
Yes. Yes, we always have suggestions. I know sometimes you have to be like on, especially on that first house, you might have to be a little bit flexible on where you're going to be,
Yeah,
or something, so that we can get you, something
right.
appropriate, right?
Yes,
But
that's right.
it might give you an extra 10-minute drive right now, but then that's going to give you the equity you need to get to the next step,
That's
in
right.
3 to 5 years.
Right.
Um, yeah, yeah,
And we can't be afraid of painting. If we're looking at a budget of $250,000, you may have to paint,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Otherwise, if someone comes and paints it for you and then puts it on the market, oh, now it's $50,000 more.
Right? It's amazing how much paint can increase the
That's
value of
right.
a house.
It's, paint is cheap. We can do it. We can do it.
That's too funny. I
Yeah,
literally was just doing a market analysis for someone this morning that I'm like, okay, we need some paint here.
right. Yeah, this one's going to
Yeah,
need paint, some
yeah,
rollers.
yeah, yeah. We can make a nice big difference. It's probably going to make, you know, a good $20,000 to $30,000 difference there.
Right? I had to stop saying the line sweat equity because nobody likes that. Nobody likes when you say that you're going to have to sweat in order to have the house you want. So I say, okay, wait, I have an AI program. I'm going to show you what it would look like if you painted it. And they go, oh, okay. We don't call it sweat equity. We call it AI equity now.
Yeah. It's amazing what AI can show you, though, because also when it looks that much nicer for you, you are going to make more money.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. Pretty sells.
Pretty sells. That's for sure.
Yeah. But you also need a realtor to help you not get bamboozled by pretty.
Well, you know, we're good at what we do, right? Like, you know, there's a lot of ins and outs to being in real estate, and it takes a long time to learn everything that we know. You know, we can walk through, you and I and Stacy, whatever, we can walk through just about any house and immediately know if we're dealing with structural or you know, we might have to look around for electrical. Like electrical is huge for us. We know how to
We
spot
still
that.
like an inspection, though. I missed
We do.
because we didn't look in the attic because we didn't have access to it.
Yeah.
We missed broken trusses on
That
one
was
that
me.
backed out.
Yes, I had that. I had
Yeah,
that one
we
house.
backed out a couple weeks ago on one with
Yeah.
broken trusses. Yeah.
Yeah, it's important. I mean, it's really nice. So what we recommend, right, is that if you have an inspector or you've got that person that you know that's really got the knowledge, right, to walk through a house with you, take those people. If you see one you like, then you come back and you look at it and you bring your person.
Yeah,
And
you bring your handy people. And
Yeah.
we try to get access to things like the attic before offer date.
Yeah.
But
That's
we
right.
can't, sometimes they don't let us have access to the attic until after.
That's
So,
right. You know, and I mean, with houses, every house you buy will always come with a little bit of surprise. You know,
yes.
like
Yes, we just don't want it to be the expensive kind.
that's right. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
And sometimes when there's stuff going on, there's opportunity. I have a condo for sale right now where there's, I'll say, opportunity, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's a building that's got some issues that were discovered, and we, but you know, they've gotten quotes and they've got numbers to work with now, and stuff like that. And like, I think that, you know, prices have come down there so much because of the unknown, that now there's opportunity to come in and get a condo in an amazing area for,
Right.
you know, 80,000 under what you could have a year ago.
That's for sure.
Right. And then,
Yeah.
yes, there's going to be some assessments coming. So it's not going to save you the full 80,000, but you know, I think there's opportunity there for sure.
Yeah. You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
You know, condos are a great option if you don't have a giant budget. To go into a condo. If you're, I usually recommend like a townhouse or a condo to my young single mothers, so
Oh,
that
yeah.
they don't have a bunch of yard work and fixing. You know, I like that a lot for them because
For
you know,
sure.
houses can be expensive, and
Yeah.
you know, and a townhouse or a condo is a really good idea.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
It also has a built-in sense of community.
For sure.
Yeah. I love that for, you're right, the single moms, the
Yeah.
widows, the, you know, anybody who's needing to have a simpler form of life,
Yeah.
anyone with medical needs that, you know, maybe can't take care of the yard anymore and stuff like that, or do stairs
Sometimes,
replacements, or
you know, our senior clients, they're in a home, their own house, you know, and then it just gets quite lonely, right? And but I had one client this year or last year, and I said to her, you know, really, wherever you go will be home. So your time here is done, but the next place will also have like some new things to experience. And she was so reluctant to leave her house, but
Yeah.
she was in her new place and so happy.
that is so common, right? Like,
Yeah.
I know, especially with I'll say my older clients the most, right? Like, because they've been in their homes for so long and they've never known anything. I won't say never not known anything
Right.
different, but it's been a long time since they've known something different.
Yeah.
And, you know, and I think that there is a fear of the unknown with everything, not just repairs, but that fear of like, what's it going to be like? Am I going to hate having all these people around all the time, all of a sudden, or whatever?
Right.
And then, yeah, I remember I sold one for a lady who lived out on 5 acres in in the country, so quite isolated, and she had lost her husband 5 years prior, and her kids came to see her often, but like not every day, right? Like maybe once or twice a week. They had full-time jobs and whatever busy lives, so trying to see mom as often as possible. But when she moved into the place, she's like, oh my God, I can't believe I didn't do this like years ago. Like I have a life. The place she moved into like has a bus that takes them all shopping and play cards together. She's like, like there was, she's too busy for her kids to come visit her now.
Which is absolutely lovely.
Right?
Similar to like several of my clients, right?
Yeah.
I think losing a spouse, that's very difficult.
Right.
And then I found like she was on a certain floor, and then there was 6 other women who had also lost their spouse, and they just look after each other.
Right.
Where is she today? She's not answering. Let's knock on her door. Let's go. We're going to go to watch the movie or whatever is on. And I mean, you and I and Stacy, we do that all the time. We are, if you come to us and say, we think we want to live in an assisted living or 55 plus, we know those places, right? Like I have a list of where they can go and who has, that's right. You don't have to start at the beginning. You just have to find the right place for you.
Right. Exactly.
That's right.
Yeah. As me and Jameis have even started talking about like downsizing for ourselves. So like, I helped my mom downsize. I don't know. My parents downsized a lot of times. One of my parents has, like, my mom has downsized lots of times. My dad has not. He's like decided that they're aging in place. They're staying in their house no matter what. So I've seen both sides, right? Like, and with my mom and her husband, like they went from like the farmyard with like the acreage and the outbuildings and all that stuff to a house in the city that was still what most people would consider like everything, and with a garage and $100,000 basement and whatever, right? And that was more than a decade ago, so that was a big deal. Now that's pretty average. But
Great.
They moved to the lake, then they moved to a condo, then they moved to a different condo. Now they're in a 1-bedroom condo, and they love where they are now.
Yeah, it just takes that.
2-bedroom too. They were in a 2-bedroom in the city and loved it, but then COVID hit and they felt isolated. And then so they moved into a building that they actually have family in. So then they had a bubble during COVID, and they just love being down the hall from family. So
yeah, I think there comes a point where there's a while that you just want to be by yourself a lot, and then you move into the next stage where you've been by yourself too much, and now you want to move into something with more of a community. Yeah, it's not that scary. See, this is what we deal with, Denise. We go right from the very beginning, all the way to the very end, right? Like,
that's why this is called the next chapter, right? Because there's always a next chapter.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Yeah. So the market right now is wild, but I definitely think that there's some opportunities for buyers who are keeping open minds and listen to your realtor and
listen to your realtor.
There's definitely some stuff out there. Just because something's not selling on offer date doesn't make it a dud.
Right.
It often means it's an opportunity because all of a sudden the market, like, I know as of May long weekend, so many things all of a sudden came on the market.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Yeah.
I thought,
I have myself set up on so many searches, like for different areas and for different clients, and my phone was literally like ding, 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 ding. And I'm like, wow, it's dinging a lot more than it was last week.
Yeah, that's for sure. I thought that was very interesting. I didn't know if it was like the trees in bloom and then everything came to market, or I wasn't sure what it was, but I actually really like the when there's more on the market, because
Oh, for sure.
yeah, because then we get to, like, we can go through and say, okay, this is nice. So what do you think about these two houses?
Yeah.
Let's compare them, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And
You're
yeah,
not just hoping
not
to
just one
find
house.
one per week to look at. You're actually like might be able to pick between houses,
Yeah, possibly, right? Yeah, that's
which
right.
then other buyers are doing the same, which means there's less competition per house, which means you
Yeah,
might, have more opportunity. And I know you
eventually.
can do a pre-inspection, but pre-inspections when you've written 13 offers can really add up, right? So
Yes.
so
Yeah.
I do sometimes have clients who stop wanting to do that or
Yeah.
don't want to start in the first place. And then yeah, so then I'm writing offers with that condition of inspection. And if they don't have someone in their life that can tell them,
Right.
you know they still need that inspector.
Yeah, we've got some really good inspectors that we work with,
Yeah.
you know. So, but an inspector will find things that an average person can't doesn't look for, right?
Right.
Like inspecting the furnace and stuff like that. Like, but yeah, hopefully we get to that spot where we can all have inspections again on houses, and you don't
Yeah.
have to, you're not dealing with 11 offers. um, I mean, people always wonder, when you're on the selling side, how do you choose when you're in a multiple offer situation? Well, I mean, I had one listing, and the three offers were exactly the same, and eventually my client picked it because the son of this little boy that came with this family, his name was the same name as her dad's, and that's like literally how we had to pick it, because they were
Wow.
all the
Yeah.
same offer.
It's funny when they are so similar, the things that happen to make
Yeah,
people pick. And even
right.
when things aren't similar, like sometimes people get emotionally attached to different things in the offer, or the
Yeah.
buyer, or something that they learned about the buyer. And which in I've been told in a lot of the states is actually like against the fair market practice.
Well,
They call it fair housing, I think. So it can be like
yeah,
discriminatory, but
discriminatory. Yeah,
so you were not actually supposed to, like, in those areas you wouldn't be allowed to know that stuff. And I'm
right.
like, I'm like, oh, it's so different here, because my client was she was still at the house when the buyer showed up early. And it was acreage, so they get out of the car and she's still watering the flowers, and she meets the four little girls that right, and she falls in love.
Yeah,
and
that's it.
and
Yeah,
it was her family's property, so she's like, I can picture this family living there.
yeah,
um, and she was so in love with them, she didn't really care what the other offers were.
yeah, yeah. It happens all the time, right?
Yeah, yeah, she's like, I don't care. Yeah, no, I just want them to have it, because for her to have those four, like, she had siblings too, so there was four of them growing up in the house. And so she's like, oh, it's just like my family, right? Like, so there was too much connection for her, right? And then
Right, that's right. I mean, I had one, and the dog that they had in the car is the same dog that she had
oh
growing
yeah,
up.
yeah, yeah, I
That
know,
was
it's
it.
funny the things people attach
Yeah,
themselves to, especially
yeah,
when they have a real emotional connection to the house, right?
for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's not always about price, and that's
no,
why we will still see the love letter.
yeah,
uh, and the love letter doesn't always work. In fact, I'd say 80% doesn't work, but for the small amount of times it does work, it's still worth writing.
yeah. It is absolutely worth writing.
Yeah.
Like, because it just gives the seller an idea of who's buying their house,
Yeah.
right? And if they are emotionally attached to the house. I mean, if it's a flip, or
Yeah, then
they're
it
just
ain't
trying to
gonna
make the
matter.
most money, it doesn't matter, right? But if they love that house,
Yeah,
then
they're
it's
emotionally
going to make
attached, and
yeah,
they have the ability to not make money be everything.
yeah,
Which, like when it's an estate, say for instance, sometimes that money is being divided between four siblings, right? Like,
right, yeah,
so all of a sudden 10,000 isn't 10,000, it's 2,500.
yeah. I know that my clients will ask, like, when we're in multiple offer situation, they'll say, well, what do I do? Like, how do I offer on this? And I'll say, this here is all about money. because this is a flip, right? This is, they bought it, they've flipped it, they've put investment into it. So it's all about money. And if I know that it's someone who is downsizing, from their house they've lived in, I say, okay, this is a letter. Like, this is one that you,
This is a
if you
letter.
really want it.
And let's phone the realtor and find out what's important to these people.
Yeah. And we do that.
And,
right?
and find out what we need to add to this letter, or what is maybe possession is a real concern for them. I had one recently. The sellers hadn't bought something yet, and they were asking for 60-ish days. But it's a tough market. They might not find something. My buyer was still living at home. I'm like, she's living at home. She can move whenever. She's fine to bring it sooner or make it later, right? She got it based on that, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Because she was so flexible.
Yeah, so, that's important.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Knowing what they need, what their concern is, often helps you write the better offer. That being said, more money by a lot will still trump that.
Right? Yeah. Oh, and pre-approval. We got to have that. You got to be approved for the money.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you got to be approved.
Wanting to look at your offer if you're not pre-approved.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
I'm watching around me here because I have a new puppy.
Yeah.
And he's probably ready to come in.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she can bring him in. Maybe we'll get a little shot of the puppy. Okay. There's two of them because I'm totally crazy, and my puppy was ready early.
Yeah.
So then his brother's with him, and I said I would foster the brother for 2 weeks. So I have 2 puppies.
Wow. Oh my God, Sherree, that's crazy. And I understand crazy, because I'm sure you've heard the story of my dogs, right? Because I was only supposed to get Mabel.
Yeah.
And but the people that were supposed to, and it was COVID, it was 2020 June. Everyone was going nuts, taking dogs off Kijiji, whatever.
Yeah.
And we had kind of joked with the seller that we should have picked 2 dogs and not just one. And my husband kept saying that. And so when the people decided not to take Penny because she had something wrong with her nose, it's called stenotic mirrors, teeny tiny little, and she would gasp. Anyway, so when she had gone to the vet, I guess the vet said that she might need surgery to make this. So the people that were supposed to take her, did the responsible thing and realized that they couldn't maybe afford that surgery. So they didn't take her. And when look at that, when they called us,
this is not mine. This is
that one's not yours. And he's adorable anyway.
He's adopted already. Here, bring me Buzz.
He's wet.
Bring me him. He's wet. She says. Sorry, Denise. I'm interrupting your story.
No, that's okay.
Now he's peeing.
Oh, geez.
The joys.
The puppy business. Yeah. Oh,
this is Hunter. He's going to a nice home. He's going to live on a farm with other puppies.
Oh, nice.
And then here he goes. Okay, let's see. This is Buzzy.
Buzzy.
Buzz. His name is Buzz, like Buzz Lightyear, because
I knew that
because
you're a Disney freak. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a Disney person, and this is my Buzz. Right?
Mm-hmm.
He's just so wet, and they're ready to eat. Cutie patootie.
So we better wrap up.
There we go. Okay. Oh, lovely.
Awesome. Okay. Well, thank you so much for coming on and chatting with us. And
anytime.
Everyone, thank you for watching or listening. And if you found this helpful, please like, share, and subscribe. And we'll see you next time on the next chapter.
Have a great day.
Bye.